Hey everyone, how are you doing? It's nice to be here, good to see you. I thought I'd do a video today using some of the products that I've received as gifts from people like yourselves that are watching this video. But I've also got the opportunity to use and review a razor that I've not used before. So the hardware today is going to be from RazorRock, and you can see that up on the window ledge. And the software today is going to be from Sterling. So first of all, let me show you what I've got on the window ledge. I've got a really lovely Sterling, no I haven't, I've got a really lovely RazorRock brush, and this was passed on to me by a good friend Paul, and I really like the shape of this brush. It's very nice to hold indeed. It's got a Plissoft 24mm knot. The razor today is a RazorRock aluminium Lupo razor, and I've been using this in the week and I really quite like it. So this was passed on to me by my good friend Sven, and I'll be glad to use these two RazorRock items today. The razor blade that I'm going to be using is one of my own, but it is a Supermax Blue Diamond. I've got it here. There we are. It's a titanium coated Swedish steel razor. We'll open that up, and while I'm popping it into the Lupo, I can show you the head a little bit more. It is a CNC milled razor. It is beautifully finished and the fit is phenomenal on this razor. Now just concentrate while I unwrap this blade. And pop that onto the head cap. And there we are, there is the guard plate. It is a closed bar, and it's got two little holes in the middle that don't go right the way through, and that fits on very nicely indeed. This razor is actually based on a Wolfman WR1. Now a Wolfman razor is a really expensive razor indeed. I've looked quite recently, and the WR1, which this is in the style of, is $425, whereas this offering in aluminium from RazorRock is a touch under $30. Now there we are, I've tightened it up. We'll move that stand out of the way, and I'll put that there all ready. Now the soap I've got today was a gift from my friend Billy, and it is the Dunshire scented soap from Sterling. This smells beautiful. It is a take on Giorgio Armani's Acqua di Gio, and I'll wet the brush. Let me put the lid up here. I'll wet the brush and we'll start building a lather soon enough. Yeah, I love this scent. Apparently Acqua di Gio, and I've written this down so I'm going to look at my notes, is bergamot, neroli and green tangerine as the top notes. It has aquatic nuances that mix with rosemary, fruity persimmon and patchouli. So that is the original, and that's what this soap is based on. Now I wanted to ask your advice because I've been considering purchasing the Saponificio Veracino 70th anniversary soap. And it seems there are very similar notes to Acqua di Gio, the top notes in the Saponificio Veracino are bergamot, lemon and tangerine, with aquatic notes provided by cologne or cologne, mint notes of lavender, Moroccan cyst and green jasmine, with geranium leaves, and base notes of amber and vetiver. So there are similarities there, and I wondered if by any chance you have both the Dunshire by Sterling or the Acqua di Gio and the Saponificio Veracino 70th anniversary soap. Are they really, really similar, or are they different? That's the question I've got. And it's something I've not been able to find out by looking online. You know, sometimes these soaps and scents seem to have very similar ingredients, but they blend together and smell very different. So I'm a little bit unsure about pulling the trigger on the Saponificio Veracino soap. Because if it smells like the Dunshire, then I don't need two the same, do I? That was my reasoning. Anyway, let's use this brush. I really like this brush. I really like this brush. It feels so good in my hand. This shape reminds me of the old Eveready shape. You know, it's rounded off more than the Eveready, but it's nevertheless a classic shape, I feel. Now this is a shaving brush that has a razor rock on the base. The ones for sale on the website are slightly different, and they now have a Bruce on the bottom, and they do a 26mm version of this, which is a big Bruce. Now let's get some water into this. You know, with Sterling, you are going to get a really good lather. It's great soap. It's terrific that these soap makers are taking off these really well-known colognes and scents. But you know, when I first started buying shaving soaps like this and using a brush, I had no idea that they were doing that. It's only more in recent years that I've come to realise that these famous scents have been replicated for us to use in our soaps, and it's a wonderful thing. Now I'm going to put a drop more water into that, just a drop on each side. And I think when the lather starts throwing itself from the brush onto the floor, it's about ready. Oh, there we go. There we are. I'm ready for the shave. I do like this razor, it's very well balanced. For me, with an aluminium razor, there is a bit of, what's the word I'm looking for? It always seems slightly odd when I pick an aluminium razor up for the first time. I think it's because my brain is thinking that's metal and therefore it should be heavy, and of course it isn't. But once you've picked this up and you're into your shave, it's entirely natural. Now I think with this razor, there's quite a wide, what's the word I'm looking for? It shaves through all of those angles. But the angle where it is most effective and most smooth for me is when the handle's at about 45 degrees rather than the usual 30. I'm finding this to be a very nice mid-aggressive razor. There is a little bit of blade feel, so it is a positive exposure. But when you hit that angle and it's there, so it almost appears as if you're riding the cap a little bit. But I tell you what, that is phenomenal. It's a really nice shave for me. I'm finding it to be very effective indeed. Now it's produced in this anodized finish. And I should explain, I guess, that aluminium, if you don't know, oxidizes and the surface of aluminium corrodes. So I have a rubber set brush on the windowsill that I have protected with a very special polish to stop that oxidation. But also when aluminium is anodized, that really stops that oxidation. So this is a beautiful finish, CNC milled, the fit is fantastic, and it comes also in a gold finish and in a black finish as well. So some very nice choices there, and they have brought out a stainless steel version of the Lupo. Now that retails at just under $90. And I've not tried that one, but I would imagine if the design is the same as this, it's going to be another fantastic shave for certain, because I'm really loving this one, I'm enjoying it very much indeed. Now the handle on this is 90mm. I've written down the weight, but I've written down that it's an ounce, and I'm afraid I've slacked a bit here because I've got no idea what that is in grams. So I'm sorry, that's on you, but it is obviously a very light razor indeed. Well, I'm very pleased that I'm having a much easier shave than last week. If you watched last week's video, it all seemed to go wrong. It was really quite amusing, but this week is much better. It's got a very definite shape, this handle, very recognisable shape, and this sort of knurling here, it's really grippy, surprisingly so, I think. Now, I have seen a review where the gentleman talks about a little bit of chattering with this blade. I don't get that at all with this razor. The blade is held very firmly in place. I don't find that there's any movement at all, and yeah, if I hold it up close there, you can see the finish is beautiful on this. But yeah, that blade is held quite firmly for me. Do you know, as always with Sterling, you have a good shave all the way through the 3 passes. There's certainly enough slickness in this soap, and what I'm finding is that post shave it's very nice as well. that I've got today. There we are, let me just shake my brush out a little bit. I've got the matching aftershave balm that goes with this soap that also came from Billy, who is the Brighton Shaver. He has his own channel, and the post-shave feel with that aftershave balm is really nice. Here we go, against the grain. You can perhaps hear it's just taking the hair straight off. I'm finding this a razor that is pretty smooth, but if you don't get that angle that I was describing, it can occasionally feel not quite so smooth. So I think while it first appears that you've got lots of opportunity there to vary the shave, actually the window is quite small. I must admit, it's nice to be able to show off a couple of products that I've been gifted very kindly, and it was Johan over at Shave and Butcher that gave me the idea. I was watching one of his videos this week, and you know, if you're watching this and you've ever sent me anything, I've borrowed quite a few razors over the last year or so, and I'd just like to say thank you to everybody, because it's you guys that make this channel what it is, and I just love it. I think we've got a great channel here. I love showing off these products, and for those of you that have loaned me or sent me things occasionally, it's very gratifying. It's wonderful, so thank you. Now that is my shave. Just going to drain a drop of this water, get some cold on. Now that is great. Now it's the kind of shave where basically I'm BBS. I know it from my last two shaves with this razor. It's the kind of shave where it's medium aggressive and it's quite comfortable, but you can really feel you've had a close shave because of the positive aspect of that blade. Now the guard plate is quite flat in the middle, so really the bend in the razor blade is just put in place by the edges of the head cap. But as I say, I feel it holds the blade very nicely. It's a nice razor, I think. It suits me. Ooh, suits you, sir. Now I've got a little bit of this Dunshire, 4 ounces fantastic, based on Acqua di Gio, as I've said. I suppose that would loosely translate as water of Gio, or Giorgio's water. It perhaps doesn't sound so good when I say it like that. But I tell you what, this is a good aftershave. Balm, it's lovely. There we are, fantastic. I smell of Acqua di Gio, or Dunshire. Fantastic show today. I've really enjoyed that one, so thank you very much for watching. You take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time around. All the very best.